Lately, I have been feeling sappy, y'all. I have been making YouTube videos for almost 7 years, which is wild because it feels like just yesterday that I graduated from grad school and I sat down in my bedroom before starting my big girl job and I decided to start making book videos. But in those 7 years, I have made a lot of videos and I've also made a lot of friends. People that I follow on Instagram and on YouTube whose recommendations I pretty much take as gospel, pretty consistently lurking on Instagram and lurking in my YouTube subscriptions and like finding new things to add to my TBR. I honestly feel like the recommendations that I get from my friends are the best ones that I get. And today I am lucky enough to be able to read books that my lovely friends recommended to me personally, not just general recommendations that they give to the everyday public. Now, there's nothing better in my mind than getting those personalized book recommendations. I am super excited because hoping we can find a 5-star read, as always. I mean, that's kind of my mission in these videos. I'm hopeful because, again, I'm taking recommendations from people that I trust. Before we get into it, I want to give you a recommendation, one that I, in fact, also give all of my friends. They're asking about jewelry. And that would be the sponsor of today's video, Linear. Their mission is to empower women around the world with luxe jewelry at fair prices. They place a really huge emphasis on sustainable materials like recycled gold and silver. And because they're able to sell directly to customers, there's no crazy markups on their gorgeous pieces. You might have noticed that in my videos, I am pretty much always wearing jewelry. It's just something that I have loved ever since I was little. I love to add a little bit of sparkle to my life. Not to be corny, but like jewelry really does just make my day better. I'm wearing jewelry even if I am staying at home in my PJs. I just love it. And when I first graduated from university, one of the first things that I did was purchase my first pieces of sustainable jewelry that would last a long time. Because in the past, especially in high school, I would, go to the mall and buy a couple of jewelry pieces and they didn't necessarily last very long. Like I would spend time picking these pieces out, but because they weren't made out of materials that were going to last and be quality, they would last maybe a couple of months, but eventually they would turn green and or kind of turn my skin green as well. So post-grad, I did my research and I really started understanding the different metals and the different jewelry techniques so I could find pieces and invest in pieces that would last but also not break the bank. Because not only is it frustrating to have to throw away cheap jewelry, it's also pretty bad for the environment. So choosing materials that will last a lifetime, picking timeless designs, and buying from a company that offsets their carbon emissions for every shipment, it's just what Linear is all about. But I really want to tell you about the pieces that Linear makes, and I also really want to tell you about the materials that they use. So some of their pieces are made out of gold vermeil, which is a really special kind of plating. It's when you take sterling jewelry and you put really super thick 22 karat gold on top of it, ensures that that jewelry is going to last much, much longer than anything that you would buy in a store. And it's also a little bit more affordable than your solid gold jewelry. Linear also does make solid gold jewelry and they also make sterling silver jewelry. So it just kind of depends on your price point and your budget and also what color of materials you enjoy as well. They really, again, do have price points for everybody while also providing excellent quality and sustainable materials. So today I'm wearing the Baroque Pearl Chunky Hoop earrings, which I believe are called the Meredith. And I'm also wearing this absolutely beautiful, delicate 14 karat white gold petal chain, which I believe is called the Fleur. I've really been gravitating towards kind of cool toned metals lately. So I love that they have, again, sterling silver options, white gold options for me. And I really love this petal chain because it's something that you can add on to over time. You can wear it on its own. Obviously, it's really beautiful and just the texture of it and the way that it sparkles in the light, I'm obsessed. But you can also add things to it, which is really cool. Linear has a line of charms that you can add, whether it's like a birthstone, it doesn't even have to be your birthstone, it could be like whatever stone you like. They also have really beautiful initials that you can add as well. Personalization is just like one of my favorite things ever. And I love that I can buy these pieces and then add over time, or I can like ask for pieces from people in my life, birthdays, to make things like even more special. And again, it really cannot be overstated how much I love that Linear cares about sustainability. I love that their pieces are made out of that recycled gold and silver, and I don't have to worry about the pieces that I'm purchasing tarnishing or needing to be replaced, and at prices that I could afford even as a new college grad. Also, this video is really in the spirit of friendship, and these pieces, the ones that I'm wearing, and really anything on Linear's website would make an incredible graduation gift, a birthday gift, I'm thinking about you gift for any of the friends in your life. So treat yourself and your friends to gorgeous jewelry that lasts. You can use my code chandler for a special offer, or you can click the link in my description down below. Also believe that that link will take you to a page where you can see the two pieces that I personally am wearing, but obviously obviously feel free to shop around and find pieces that work perfectly for you. Thanks again to Linear for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Now let's go ahead and get vlogging, and I can tell you what friends have given me book recommendations and what books they are recommending. Okay, we're starting off with an absolute banger from a new friend. After this recommendation, I think I'm just going to genuinely peruse this person's Instagram anytime I'm looking for a new read, because Pierre from Pierre Reads over on Instagram is a new friend. I got an incredible recommendation from him and I'm just like so gagged. I'm obsessed. Okay, so Like Real People Do, I believe the author is E.L. Massey, is a sports romance, a hockey romance in particular, about a hockey player who is like the captain of his NHL team in Houston, which, hello, I'm from Houston. That's automatically going to be like a win for me. He is the NHL captain for his team, and he is like the youngest ever NHL captain. I want to say he's like 19, almost 20, and he ends up kind of by chance, by happenstance, becoming friends with a figure skater who attends a university that shares a rink, I guess, with this NHL team. And the guy's name is Eli. He is queer, he is mixed race, he is disabled, and Alex is just this like big, I don't want to say big lumbering white guy, but kind of, who everybody presumes is straight. Strike up a friendship pretty quickly, are trying to like fight their attraction for each other, because Alex, since he's in the NHL, doesn't really want to come out. He has come out to Eli like over the course of the story, but he doesn't want to come out, and Eli doesn't want to be in a relationship with anyone who is not out, so they're kind of in this situation where they both have feelings for each other. They haven't admitted their feelings for each other, but they're definitely like more than just friends. Like they spend way too much time together, they cuddle a lot, and it is just so good. It's been a while since I've read a friends to lovers story where the friendship really takes place on page, where there is not a lot of drama or angst. Still feels like there's tension between the two of them, but it's not a book where you're stressed out the entire time. It's so cozy and fun and sweet and endearing. I love the cast of side characters. I really love Eli and Alex's characters. I love the pets. There's a service dog that Eli has for his seizures, who's so sweet. We also have a bitchy cat that Alex has, which I love. Like, this is just so good and like just what I was looking for. And I don't even know what I was looking for, but I think this is just like hitting the spot for me. Again, it's sweet, it's queer, it's not too angsty, it's not overly smutty, which is, you know, just something that I feel like I bitch about generally speaking nowadays. It is so delightful. I love it. And social media is definitely, I will say, like a part of this book, but it doesn't feel silly or unrealistic. That's also something that I tend to get annoyed by when, like, you know, someone in a book series is like an influencer or like in social media and it just feels disingenuous or like doesn't feel like that in this book. It's so cute. I have like no complaints so far. Okay, I looked up specifically what Pierre said about this one too in his recommendation, but he said, I recommend Like Real People Do. It's a new adult hockey romance with disability rep, the cutest fucking service dog, and two people who can actually communicate. I think you'd like it because it's a gorgeously tender hockey figure skater romance, and I feel like you'll like it not having this communication trope. Yeah, I'm loving that. Like, these two people are willing to share their feelings and emotions. It doesn't feel over the top. That's also something that like I have seen recently, is it seems like there is no middle ground, or like not often middle ground, when it comes to emotional vulnerability in characters. You either have characters who are like spilling their guts kind of unprompted. I read a queer romance last year, I think, that had that, and I was like, whoa, y'all are sharing a lot really quickly. Or we have characters who have the like emotional vulnerability of a rock, like they're just unwilling to share anything, even like the smallest things, which is really frustrating. This is like the perfect balance, you know? These feel like real people. Like real people do. Okay, I want to keep yapping about it because I like don't want to. Do you ever like a book so much you like don't want to finish it? Because that's where I'm at. Can I tell you a secret also? I've actually already finished this video. This is like the last book I'm reading for the video, but I'm putting this clip first. This is like the only thing standing in my way of finishing this video, but like I don't want to finish this book because I like it. It's the next time I'm gonna like a book. I don't know. Fellowly chronically online baddies, have y'all seen that comment that people leave on TikToks that are like, I just stood up and clapped? That's how I'm feeling right now after having finished this fucking book. Pierre, hats off to you, my friend. This was phenom. Loved it. 10 out of 10. So cute. If you are someone who likes friends to lovers on page, you don't like miscommunication, you like a sports romance, you like sweet, you like low angst, but good sexual tension, no on-page sex, no third act breakup. I mean, hello, this was so good. I really enjoyed this. I feel like I needed this, honestly. It's been a sec since I've, I think, read a truly good sports romance, and this one just ticked all my boxes. It was really, really great, and I quite enjoyed it. So go follow Pierre on Instagram, and also just read this book because it was super cute. It was not on Kindle Unlimited, I will say, which was a little frustrating, but I did pay the $6 or whatever for the audio, or not audiobook, for the Kindle book. And as if a Kindle does this, Jesus Christ, I'm like an old person. You know what I'm saying? Kindle book. I paid $6 for it and it was worth the money. Hello, besties. She's on the mini mic. I'm also in my PJs, and I guess it's not actually a weird time to be in my PJs anymore because I think it's like, ooh, 7:30 p.m. However, I have been in the same set of PJs all day because guess whose aunt came to town? Mine, yeah. Cool thing about like taking care of your PCOS is that you might get a regular period. The bad thing about taking care of your PCOS is that you might get a regular period. So, yeah, I'm struggling today. You know, that day one, day two business. Yeah, she's not having the best time. However, I am not having a bad time listening to the Jasad Heir, and I know that I'm probably not saying that correctly, but I know it's not Jasad. I am very Texan, and I don't want to totally butcher it. The audiobook narrator says it much better than I do, but this was a recommendation from, of course, Olivia, from Olivia Reads a Latte. This was actually a book I believe I was supposed to read for the taste test that I did for her, and I DNF'd that book for the second time. So this is my third time attempting to read this book, and I am having a better go of it this time around. Here's the thing, like the last two times I've read this book or attempted to read this book, I didn't put it down because I disliked it. I put it down because the pacing started to lag at the 50% mark both times that I read it, or attempted to read it, I should say. Again, DNF'd it twice. This time I'm pushing through, and I've actually gotten a little bit farther than 50%, and I think that I'm invested. So this is a fantasy book that's got a little bit of romance in it, supposedly, but it's not a romantasy book. And that was kind of why Olivia pitched it to me, kind of what she said that she enjoyed about it. She's like, a little bit of like tension there romantically, but it's not necessarily, you know, super, super romance heavy. And I believe she said she enjoyed the world, and I am totally understanding that. So this book follows our main character, Sylvia, and she is secretly the heir to Jasad, which is a country or land or people as well who have or had magic, and a neighboring country basically like that they had magic and decided to kind of like hunt down their people and kill everybody. So our heroine is kind of in hiding in this land of people that she fucking hates, and she's just kind of trying to stay alive. She is the heir to this country and this country's magic. There are people in hiding in this country that she's living in who are being hunted down and murdered, which, you know, not super great, and she doesn't feel super safe because of this. But because of a series of events that occur, she ends up having to collaborate with the heir to, I think it's Nizal is the place that she lives, having to collaborate with him even though she doesn't fucking like him. She doesn't like these people. I mean, they literally killed her family, so valid, totally valid. Because of his magic seeing ability, I say seeing ability, it's more like a feeling ability. He can touch people and see if they have magic by touching them. He can tell that our heroine has magic, even though her magic is kind of leashed at the moment. It's very powerful magic that's leashed. He can tell that she has power, and he's like, okay, I could kill you, or you could become a champion in this competition, and you could also help sniff out your fellow Jessadies who have magic so that they cannot fuck with my kingdom, you know? I can tell they're planning something big and I need your help. And I don't really want to die, so I guess I'll do this. But like, of course, she doesn't really want to help him. And she's kind of trying to figure out how to get out of it. And it's also a little complicated because she has two friends whose identity has been kind of like revealed to us over the course of the story as being not what we previously thought. And she wants to ensure that they're okay too. So there's like a lot at stake for her basically in this story. And I'm having a good time with it. I think that the thing that I like about the story is the cultural aspects of it. It is Egyptian-based fantasy, or it's like based on Egypt, which I'm enjoying. I'm liking that it's not just like another, you know, straight white romantasy book. Like I mean, I think it. I mean, it's probably gonna be straight, right? Like I think she's gonna end up with a man, but you understand what I'm saying. It's not Akatar, you know, it's got a different vibe to it. But the fantasy itself, like the magic system and the world building, is not something that is so hard to understand. You understand that there's sort of a rival situation. You understand that these people don't like each other, but you're also not overwhelmed with trying to remember a million different, you know, warring factions or, again, crazy fucking magic systems. So it feels easy to read, and I can appreciate that. I will say, in some ways, I actually kind of wish that I understood the magic a little bit more. I think I'll learn more about it as the story goes on, and so I'm not upset about it. I also found out recently that this is a duology. So if I end up actually loving this when I finish it, the next book comes out in July, and there's only one more book, you know? Like, I don't have to try to the plot of this book and the characters in my mind for too long, which, you know, hey, that's a plus. That's a plus in my eyes. I think that Olivia tends to have really great fantasy recommendations, so I'm not surprised that I don't hate this book. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say that I'm, like, truly, truly enjoying it, but I am enjoying it more the first two times that I read it. There's nothing that, like, I really dislike. I'm not like, oh my god. Now, this is no sword catcher for me, but I think it's kind of hard for fantasy to achieve those heights. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see as I finish this book what goes, because I mean, I've only ever gotten 50% of the way into this book 3 times. So, you know, that next 50% has in store for us. I couldn't begin to tell you. Could begin to tell you, though, that I am about to lay the fuck back down and readjust my heating pad. I'm out of bed to put some makeup on, try to feel a little bit more normal. Actually gonna put you over here. I wanted to talk to you about 2 books. That's like kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing. I would say bad thing because one of them I'm DNFing, but that book is not the Jasad Heir. I did end up finishing it, and you know what? I'm glad that I did because I've owned this audiobook for a while now, and it feels good to not have it just like sitting in my Audible unfinished, marked as unfinished. I also, you know what? I think I liked this book. I think I'd probably give this book like 3 or 3.5 stars. A lot about this book that ended up, I think, working for me. It wasn't my perfect fantasy book by any means, but I can appreciate certain things that this book did. And I don't think that I spoke about it in the first clip where I was talking about this book, but I really did appreciate the, I guess, realistic reaction to trauma that our heroine had. That's something that's really pervasive in the book, and I will say at times is a little confusing when you're listening to an audiobook and you can't tell if things are happening in present day or if things are happening in the past. But once I kind of started to understand what was happening, I appreciated it. I feel like oftentimes bad things happen to characters in fantasy books, and beyond them being temporarily sad or traumatized, it doesn't feel like it affects them in the long term. But our heroine, like the things that happened to her in the past, like very much affect her day to day and how she reacts and like her self-image. And I appreciate that. I felt like that was nice inclusion in fantasy. I feel like I want to see more of that going forward, like more mental health representation, I guess accurate or realistic reactions to traumatizing events. I feel like it lends even more relatability to fantasy, where I feel like sometimes fantasy can be kind of devoid of that. I think that books that are not set in contemporary settings are at their best when they can make us feel something for the characters or something for how society as a whole is going. It feels like it could happen to you or happen in your society, if that makes sense. Like sci-fi book that like really gets you to think. That's exactly what I'm personally looking for. So yeah, I thought this was good in that regard. I think the like romance elements were a little lackluster. That was like really my only true complaint. But as Olivia said, like this was not pitched to me as a romantasy book, and so I'm not like super disappointed necessarily because of that. So yeah, I'd give it like 3 or 3.5 stars. And thinking about this, I feel like it just gives me a better perspective on what Olivia likes. And I think I knew that Olivia liked a little mental health rep in her fantasy books. I feel like I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that she likes Throne of Glass better than Akatar, for instance. So I feel like, I don't know, things are adding up for me. Generally speaking, if you were looking for good fantasy recommendations and cozy vibes, go follow Olivia. I mean, I'm sure that most of you probably already are if you follow me, but if you're not, go ahead and follow Olivia. Now, this one's going to be tricky to discuss with all of you because I really, really like this person, and I feel really, really bad that I have to DNF this book, but it is really not working for me. And usually I make my best attempt and I'm like, you know what, like it wasn't for me, but it was fine. This one, I just know that I'm going to have more and more mean things to say about this book if I continue to read it. It's just challenging because I really love this person and I genuinely get such good recommendations from them. Some of my favorite romances from the last year have been from this person. So I want you to go and follow Adventures in Pages on YouTube and on Instagram. Rebekah literally has the best recommendations. We don't always see eye to eye on romance, but a lot of the times she gives me good recommendations. Like I'm always perusing her Threads account or her Instagram or YouTube because she always is reading things I've never heard of or putting things on my radar that like wouldn't have been there otherwise. So this is not a slight against her. I just have to say that because I genuinely have such good recs from her. She got me into Stephanie Archer and Chelsea Curto and like so many amazing like sports romance authors. This one just really didn't work for me. So the book that she recommended was Bloom by E.J. Blaze or something like that. There's a couple of authors that are featured in this video that have very similar names, like initialisms that both start with E. Is about our main character Caroline, and she at the beginning of the story is living with her abusive dad and is trying to get out of that situation. And she's able to do so and ends up living above a flower shop that she works at. Here's the thing. First off, the writing was just really not working for me, and it's something that I'm having a hard time really describing. It's one of those things where sometimes you just pick up a book and it's not that it is poorly written necessarily, it's just a writing style that like you have a really hard time getting into yourself. That was kind of my problem with it. I think a really good maybe demonstration of this would be the way that our author tries to unveil information, okay? So general gist is this girl's working above living above the flower store, working at the flower store. Her best friend is the sister to her ex-boyfriend, okay? She broke up with this guy, I think his name's Jackson, but she's still friends with his little sister Lux. Now, no one else in this large family likes our heroine, and we don't really know why because I don't think that she did anything wrong, her relationship with Jackson or whatever, but she's friends with Lux, none of the other family members like her, and they're all really fucking rude to her. And we never find out in the first like 20% of the book why that is, which was really, really frustrating as a reader. I wanted to know pretty immediately, okay, why are people so mean to her? You don't have to reveal everything in the first, 10, 20% of a book. I don't think that that is a way to endear me to a character or endear me to a series. And the love interest, I believe, is one of the brothers in that family, not the one that she's previously dated, but a new one. And he is a fucking asshole from the beginning, and not, again, in a way that I find endearing. There was something that I liked, which is that he's kind of quiet and kind of gruff, which I prefer that any day over a guy who's like really insulting and like just a jackass out of nowhere. But I still didn't really understand why he was kind of rough with our heroine, like verbally, like just kind of rough in their couple of interactions that I saw. Again, not endearing to me, especially because she has an abusive dad who she's trying to get away from. I wanted this guy to be like really sweet and understanding, and maybe as the book carries on, he is, but I just did not see any evidence of that, and it was really off-putting, I'm not gonna lie, along with, again, like how rude her best friend's family was to her, Lux's family, the literal only family that we see in this book. Like, they're really, really rude to her, even though like she doesn't have a mom and her dad's abusive. Like, why are we being so mean to this girl? Like, for what fucking reason? It was kind of hard to get through. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just like keep reading to see if maybe this changes. Maybe we find out why people are mean to her. Like, the more I read, the more I got annoyed and frustrated. And I was like, yeah, I just can't do this. This is not my cup of tea. And Rebekah pitched this as, when having a cowboy call you honey would fix you. Maybe it would fix me, but I don't think it would be this cowboy to do it, if I'm being honest. I know where I'm at with this book, which sucks, again, because I want to put shine on other creators whose recommendations I take. But genuinely, if there's anyone in this video who I think you need to go follow and take recommendations from, despite this one not working, it would be Rebekah, because I, again, have found so many good romance recommendations from her. Literally, she's the reason I logged on to NetGalley the other day, because I am just like I'm not really an ARC requester. I think her genuine passion and love for reading makes me want to find books that I absolutely adore. Like, there's just something about her energy that's like infectious. So go follow her, please. Even though this book didn't work for me, you should go follow her. All right, take two. I'm gonna try to get through this. It's really weird because I am in a reading mood, and it's been a hot second, right? I've been in higher spirits the past couple of months, which has been very nice after experiencing a pretty debilitating depression. But that doesn't mean that I was like super hyped to read, right? I'm not always super hyped to read. However, the past couple of weeks, I've been like genuinely hyped to read. Sometimes it gets me down a little bit when the books I'm picking up are not to my liking, and that's kind of what I'm experiencing right now, but I'm trying to remain hopeful and optimistic and bright-eyed and all of the things, okay? I picked up Rachel's pick. Rachel, when she pitched this book to me, I did like DM her, right? Like she sent a little thing in the Instagram box, question box, and then I messaged her. I was like, tell me more about this book. Intrigued. What she pitched to me was basically the synopsis of the book, right? She said that she enjoyed it. She said that she thinks that this author writes the most similar to Sarah J. Maas. She really enjoyed the series. And she said, I believe that it is less dark than other series that I attempted to read by this author. So I was like, okay, intrigued, interested. I want a good romance. She said this was like in her top 5, I think, for the year. And 30% in, I'm having a very visceral reaction, and I'm prayerful that that means that this is a good author and that things are going to turn around, because at the moment I'm kind of upset at some of the character dynamics and the relationship dynamics that are happening. They're unsettling, they are creepy, and I don't like it. So this book's about our main character, Tessa, who is a fae. And the way that this society is set up, we've got 3 species of people. We've got fae, we've got legacy, and we've got humans. Humans, bottom of the barrel. We don't really know any humans right now, but we do know some fae, we do know some legacy. Again, we know that Tessa is a fae, and the guy that she is about to be bonded to is a legacy. And I don't really understand what legacy are. I mean, I understand that they are descendants of gods, so they are like the top rung of society, but I don't really understand what their thing is and why they kind of like have to siphon power from the fae. Okay, so the fae are supposed to serve the legacy, the very highest of the legacy, the like lords and ladies or whatever, like kind of the ruling class of the different kingdoms, end up, I guess, sourcing their magic or like stealing magic from like one specific fae. They like bond to them, and it's kind of a semi-erotic bond most of the time, but it's a very strong bond, and it can't be broken except for by death. At the beginning of the story, we've got Tessa, and she's at this ball ceremony where, you know, the heirs to these different thrones are going to get bonded to their person. And Tessa's like, this is chill. Like, after this, I'm gonna go drink and eat and have fun with my friends because I'm not going to be selected, because, you know, most people know in advance that they're going to be selected. Tessa has a chance encounter with Theon, and he is just so taken with her that he decides, hey, no, you don't know who I am, but you're gonna be bonded to me, bitch. The tricky thing about about that is that Tessa has no interest in this. She doesn't want this. Not giving up her magic, but like being subservient to someone, not super intriguing to her, right? She doesn't really know what fate would befall her if she didn't do this. She would be like sent to a kingdom. Like Fae are basically sent to different kingdoms based on what kind of magic that they have, I guess. She doesn't know what her magic is yet. Like if it's air, they have elemental magic, okay? Know what her magic is. She doesn't know what would happen to her anyway, but she knows for sure she doesn't want to be like tied to this motherfucker. The book has basically just been her kicking and screaming the treatment that she's facing from this guy. And yes, they're both sexually attracted to each other. They've had some like kind of sexy moments, but it's also just so mired and bogged down by the weird like relation. She calls him master. I don't like that. I don't like that everybody also wants to essay her. Not Theon. He definitely is trying to not follow in his father's footsteps and like have, you know, a very subservient, Fae. He doesn't necessarily want that, but he doesn't really know how to get Tessa to listen to him. And that's important because his dad is really controlling and kind of a piece of shit and doesn't want her getting into situations where like she's going to be harmed. Like he cares about her. Also, he does some stuff that I just don't really think is cool. He's very controlling and it just, you know, if you take it outside of a fantasy context, it reads as like an abusive relationship. And so I'm sort of confused as to who I'm supposed to be rooting for. Like, am I supposed to want Tessa to be subservient to this man? Am I hoping that Theon starts listening to his two best friends who are like, hey, breaking her spirit, maybe not good idea. Is this her end game? I did get on Goodreads to try and kind of suss that out because there's already 2 other books out in the series. It kind of seems like they are end game. And I don't know, again, in like what universe I would root for these two to be together. They did have a sexy moment and I was like, okay. But I also kind of felt a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. So yeah, man, this is a tough one for me. I like the other guys. I like Axel and Luca, who are the brother and like kind of bodyguard of Theon. Theon, though, I don't like. And I think it's because like he does get a POV in this book. You know, the 2 POVs here are Tessa and Theon. But the problem is he does not have a very consistent character. And that's troubling to me. Like I cannot tell, again, if he is traumatized by his upbringing and his shitty dad. And like he's unsure of how he should be treating Tessa because of that. Not that that would be justification. It just doesn't feel like there's any intentionality, I guess, behind his actions. So I just really can't tell whether I should root for him, whether he's morally gray, whether he's just genuinely a piece of shit. I'm struggling, y'all. And I sympathize with Tessa deeply, but she's also deeply annoying. So I don't know. I want to find out more about this society. I am interested in like what the legacy's purpose is. Why are they stealing Fae magic essentially? Why are the Fae just okay with this? And also I will say from Rachel's message, like I'm not going to spoil anything for you. She did kind of let me know that there's even more creatures and interesting things that happen in next books and there's more points of view. And I'm intrigued enough, but I'm also just like the romantasy, you know, when I like kind of need to care about the romance and I'm actively repulsed by it. So I don't know what that means. Okay. I guess I'm going to continue. And I'm not hating this, but it's unsettling, certainly. So, different strokes for sure. But also, maybe by the end of this, I'm going to be like, I'm so sorry, Rachel, for like ever doubting you. I'm hoping that that's what happens. Hey, the plot thickens. I left off at, I don't want to say a pivotal moment in the book, but we did just get some reveals going on, some like new magic, some new things about the world. I don't think it really like changes my thoughts that much. Their stuff has changed my thoughts a little bit. I think that Theon is coming around a little bit. And by coming around, I mean like, I think he's formulating a plan to not use our heroine, but to have the kind of relationship with her that he wants to, so that he can kind of listen to his dad's wishes, but at the same time grant her as much autonomy as possible. I guess that that's nice. Like I'm definitely way less squigged out. Like I think that it's okay, kind of, this relationship. I really do hope that by the end of the book, though, trying to like dismantle this system, like I think we're slowly getting there. I think that Theon, you know, he's not in love with the system. You know, he likes this girl, wants them to be bonded, but I think that he understands that this is not like the best situation for her to be in. But I think considering, you know, how powerful we're finding out this chick to be, things are definitely gonna have to change. And I don't feel like that's really a spoiler to say. Like if it's a spoiler to say that this bitch has a lot of power, I'm sorry, you've never read a romantasy book ever. I'm definitely more interested now. So that's good. I'm not like in love with it, but I definitely am not hating it. I'm liking it a lot more. I'm also getting kind of hot, so that's why the leg's out. I am wearing shorts. My one complaint at this point is that I think that this book would be a little better if the writing were a touch more concise. From about the 30 to 60% mark, not much has happened. We've had a couple of reveals, a couple of interesting moments, but it's a lot of heroine like disobeying and the hero having to like kind of get her back in line begrudgingly. He doesn't really want to, but he has to because, you know, the
kingdom depends on it and his dad is making him be this way. It's just like fucking repetitive after a point, you know? And I do feel like I remember that from, is it Lady of Darkness, the other book that I've read by this author? Like, her writing's not bad, it's just the repetition is kind of killing me. And I feel like I didn't have that issue when I read Sarah J Maas books. Not to say that they were all tightly plotted or, you know, amazing, but I felt like there was a little less repetition in scenes and in dialogue. Like, I think I could have gotten a lot of the information in much fewer pages. I feel like what I failed to mention in the last clip is how weird this book is. I know that I talked to you about the darkness of it, but I don't think I like fully captured how strange this world is. It's like we're wearing gowns, fanciful, but there's cell phones and donuts, and she's not allowed to eat donuts for the fucking record. I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, it's marketed as a dark romantasy, and it is dark, I think, but I think that it's going to be a matter of personal preference, what kind of darkness you like. I don't think that you have to love Haunting Adeline necessarily to enjoy this. I just think that the darkness was really the relationship itself. And obviously some of the surrounding things were a little bit dark as well, but I like the relationship between hero and heroine to be pretty consensual. Yeah, I mean, for lack of a better word. And so that's kind of where I'm struggling with this one. It does get better. It was kind of up and down, I would say, but it does get better over the course of the story, which, you know, welcome for sure, definitely welcome. I don't know if it's enough to like make this series I want to continue on with. I think I'm gonna give it like 2.5, 3 stars, but like definitely not my speed when it comes to romantasy. I think that it was nice though to read this and to have read another book by this author, understand her writing style, to understand that it's just maybe not for me. I don't think that she's a bad writer. I just picked up another book. I don't know if we'd call it romantasy, but like night and day. Like the writing is night and day, and I'm like kind of shocked at how much I'm liking this other book. I feel like this has happened the past couple of times that I've done videos, or the books that I'm like, oh, that's gonna be a slam dunk, I just actively don't like. Then the random fucking book is the one that I'm like obsessed with, okay? And that's what's happening right here. So I'm gonna leave this here pretty much for every person that I'm talking about in this video. You need to go check out their content. Rachel is like the queen of romantasy, and if you are a romantasy lover, want to get recommendations that are not just the same old, like she's gonna give those to you with a delightful personality and a beautiful face. So go check her out. I think I've recommended her before, but definitely go check her out. Everybody's linked, of course. Let's talk about someone else who is equally as lovely. Ava from Ava's Romance Reads, I believe is her account. Ava is so pretty and so sweet and has such specific romance taste. So when she reached out to recommend an alien type romance, I had to jump on it because she is like the queen of monster romance in my eyes. Like I don't want to say one of the only people I know that reads like alien and monster romances, but like committed. And she doesn't just read like the barbarian, you know, alien series. Like she definitely like looks for monster and alien romances, and respect, okay? This is so fucking good. She told me to read Broken by the Horde King by Zoe Draven, and I'll be honest, the cover, the synopsis, I was like, I don't know, this doesn't really seem like me. The way that she described it and just her enthusiasm for things just always has me excited. So let me pull up her DM. She said it's her favorite book in the series, but if you want to choose book one, that's okay too. They're barbarian romances with possessive male main characters, and they're droll worthy. And I mean, I couldn't agree more. Like, I'm eating this shit up. This book is about our main character Maeva, who is a human living amongst these barbarian aliens, essentially. I'm like shockingly impressed with how well built this world is and how into this relationship dynamic. Okay, so Maeva's a human. She's living amongst these barbarian aliens and living in kind of like a settlement where there is sort of like a king and a queen. Big city somewhere in this world where people will like go to train, I guess. And she falls in love with the king of her village, his son, and they've been best friends for forever. And she's expressed interest multiple times in him. She's a couple years younger than him. Expressed interest multiple times, and he rejects her both times. Despite how much love she has to give, it's kind of like hardens her, like being rejected multiple times by someone that you're super into and being not betrayed, but like, I mean, he like makes out with her sister. Yeah, like she is not having it with this guy, okay? Which is fine because goes to like train in the big city. He comes back for a little bit and then he goes away to like start his own clan essentially. And she stays home. She's like, you know what? I don't want anything to do with this man. At the beginning, you know, of our friendship, he, you know, promised me that I could be a healer in his clan because that's always been like the thing that I want to do. I don't even have interest in doing that shit anymore because I don't fuck with this guy, you know? Like he made out with my sister and I told him I loved him and he just like kind of rejected me. So he's gonna go and form his own clan, his own warrior clan, and I'm gonna stay right where I am with my sister and my dad. I get it. I totally get it. But she comes across him in the forest one day where there's like a wild beast kind of roaming around. The wild beast is taken care of, but she has this like in exchange with him, regrets everything that he's ever done or said to this woman, and he like goes back home to the village, talks to his dad, basically claims this woman, not like you're gonna be my woman, but like he needs a healer, and so he basically takes her as his healer to his clan. She is not very happy about this. He doesn't do it by force, I should say. Like, he is a barbarian, but like there's no consent issues in the story so far. He takes her to the village. She's going to help assist in the birth of a hybrid kid, which is going to be like half alien, half human. She's never met a fellow human before, so this is going to be interesting. She's also felt like an outcast all of her life because she's the only human in her village. And anyway, she's in this new village, and she is the healer of the village now, which, you know, comes with a decent amount of respect. And she's been basically like assigned, I guess you could say, like a helper person. Kinds of people who are typically assigned helper people are the queens in this village. And she's like, why the fuck would you assign me one of these helper people? You're gonna give people the wrong idea. And he's like, so what? I want you to be my woman, you know? Dynamic is delicious. Their dynamic is so good. I don't think I've read this sort of dynamic in a while, where heroine has been pining for the hero for a while. That feeling is not necessarily reciprocated when they're younger. Kind of man whores around. Then in adulthood, he's like, no, that's my woman, but she doesn't want anything to fucking do with him anymore. The grovel, I can tell, is going to be delicious. It's already kind of good. Like, he definitely super sweet to her and like very much wants to be with her. He's not too pushy. He's not too forward. It's just delicious. I love this dynamic. I know that there's going to be some people who are like, I don't know if I like that because, you know, he was whoring around and like she was pining for him. Here's the thing, like, it was a childhood crush that she had. Not like he promised her anything. Like, he rejected her multiple times, which I mean, I guess in some ways is worse, but there was a significant enough age gap to where it kind of made sense for him to reject her. I don't know, like, her feelings, she hasn't had feelings for this guy for like 10 years at this point. So I don't think it's like, I don't know, it's not pathetic in my eyes. That's what I don't like. The woman is obsessed with the man, and he whores around and is rude to her, and like she feels betrayed and sad, and she's pitiful, generally speaking. Case here, not the case here. So it's different, okay? It's different in my eyes, and I like it, okay? The writing's good. There's like a different language. Like, there's words spoken in here that are, I don't know, it's very immersive. It's an immersive experience, and I'm having a really good time. And I needed this win today, I'm gonna be honest, because I spent almost an entire day listening to Reign of Shadow and Endings, and it's not a bad book, but this is like so much more my speed. This puts the romance in, like, you know, romancy. I mean, I don't think it's marketed as romancy. I think it's supposed to be sci-fi, but it doesn't feel very science fiction-y. I mean, the guys have like tails, I guess. I don't know. It's not very like they're spaceships and shit. You know, it's not like alien barbarians. So it's a little different. I'm eating it up, and I cannot wait to see this man grovel. And like, yeah, the scene that I'm at right now, they're at a little like village feast get together to like celebrate, I guess, arrival of of Meva. She has been asked to dance by a fellow human, a male human, who is very much like into her, and I can already tell he's gonna be jealous and like pissed off. I'm anticipating it, okay? I'm just gonna forget that he has a tail. The way that they're described is like really hot. Besides the tail, abs, and he's like big and muscly. Like, yeah, sign me the fuck up. I wanna, what do they call him? I don't know. I don't even know what the species of these people is called. I'm gonna go read this, and I'm gonna watch her fuck this alien man. Okay, bye. I keep it 100p with you guys. I can barely, you know what? I'm so sorry. This is like probably the worst thing I've ever done, but also the sunglasses. It's too fucking bright. Hello, I'm at HEB. Wanted to end off this vlog in spectacularly glamorous fashion. I finished Broken by the Horde King last night, and dare I say, I have found a 5-star read. Who is she? Like, between this and Kiss of the fucking Basilisk, like, I don't know who I'm turning into. I think it's a fun time girl, and I think that we should all clap for that, because maybe 2025 is just the year of being deeply unserious and just silly, and I am okay with that, honestly. I think I need that. Oh, I think the sun has peeked behind a cloud, and I might, no, I can't. It's still too bright. This was really, really solid. Like, the writing I thought was solid. The romance and relationship development, solid. I thought this book was incredibly sweet. I really liked our hero's persistence that was endearing and not creepy. That authors are so good at writing creepy dudes. Like, someone please explain to me why, because not into it. I'm really not into it. Evidenced by multiple, you know, times in this video, me being creeped out by men. But additionally, yeah, that has been kind of the running theme of this year. It's like, be recommended a book, or I'll pick up a book and everybody's like, oh my god, he's so sexy. And I'm like, in what fucking universe, you know? In this universe, this alien universe, is willing to overlook that this guy had a tail because he was respectful, okay? He was a nice guy. And yeah, sure, maybe a nice guy like wouldn't fuck other women and like, I don't know, turn you down. He apologized and he came around, and I liked this book. I thought it was fun. God, kind of want to read the rest of the books in the series. So I don't know what that says about me. Here's the thing. If you are not an alien or monster romance girl, I still think that this would be a good book for you because it really is not heavy on that. It's got like just enough fantasy to keep it interesting, to make it kind of fun. The plot isn't crazy, but there are plot things that happen. Like, it was just a well-crafted fucking story. I don't feel like I should have to say that, but telling you that because it's just not always the case. All right. Well, hopefully we can put up with my squinting for the rest of this. What a video this was. What I've taken away from this is that I can take recommendations from my friends. Those might not always turn out to be amazing. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, and that's totally okay. That doesn't mean that I'm going to stop taking recommendations from these lovely people, nor should you. In fact, again, I can't say it enough. I can't reiterate it enough. You should be subscribed to or following these people because they're phenomenal, they're fun, they're sweet, and they have a real passion for books. And getting to read books from people who really, really like books just has me excited to read books, And I like that. I like that for me. So I had a fun time doing this. I'm glad that I found a couple of new books to love, even if they weren't all bangers. That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, But thanks for watching this. I love y'all so much, and I will see you in the next one, whenever that may be. I think it's actually next Wednesday. A midweek video from yours truly.